So I saw Oppenheimer, and there's a lot more sex in it than I thought there would be. Hi, thanks for tuning in to the Tom Patelson Show. Yeah, I saw Oppenheimer in the IMAX theater with the seats that don't go back far enough. Yeah, I wasn't kidding about the sex. There's a lot of sex in this movie, but I'm not going to talk about that or Robin Oppenheimer's sex life, but we'll delve into... No, we're not delving into that. All right. There are no spoilers for this review. I'm not going to give away any plot points, although it's history, so you can probably research that if you wanted to. Written and directed for the screen by Christopher Nolan, on the book, based on the book American Prometheus by Kai Bird and Martin J. Sherwin. It's the story of J. Robert Oppenheimer, and that's tough to say, isn't it? J. Robert Oppenheimer, who is the given credit for starting the Manhattan Project and creating our first atomic bomb and bringing us into the atomic age and changing warfare forever. The movie starts when he's hired for the job, and it follows him through his trials and tribulations through the creation of the atomic bomb and the aftermath which follows his life. The movie bounces back and forth in between those timelines, back and forth and back and forth. We get glimpses into his home life, his mistresses, his relationship with Einstein, which is pretty wonderful. That's one of my favorite parts. And his defense from our government when he is accused of being a communist. So, before my review, yeah, Cillian Murphy's great, but we knew that. We knew that. We knew he'd be great. We knew he was going to be amazing. That's great. Matt Damon is great. Emily Blunt is great. The casting is great. And who they cast is great. The decisions on the casting, I think, are fabulous. Yeah, there'll be nominations for this in the future, but we all knew that. We all knew there'd be nominations for this movie before it came out. Not that I'm saying anything about our nominations process. Or am I? So, for this particular review, I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to break it down into sections and focus only on the film making itself, not the implications made or the impact about the film or what it says. I'll do a little bit of a deep dive into that later. So, this is a brand new idea, and I'm breaking this down into how this movie affected my five senses going to the movies. First up on the senses is sight. There are some brilliant movies out there who, by the nature of their filmmaking process, I can't watch anymore. Natural Born Killers comes to mind. The camera angles and the lights and the flashing lights and the strobes and the handheld bouncy cam. The movie gave me a headache in the theater, and I can't watch that movie ever again, although it is brilliant. I won't deny that. I can't deny that. The movie is a brilliant movie, but its effect on me physically means I can't watch it again. Conversely, there are brilliantly shot movies that I have no idea what the heck is going on. Prometheus, I'm looking at you, I'm looking in your direction. I have no idea what's going on, but that movie is spectacularly shot and edited and sound. It's wonderful to look at. No idea what's happening. So, Oppenheimer is visually, just the eyes, stunning. Stunning. The camera angles, the colors, and Christopher Nolan's decision to bounce back and forth between color and black and white. And the black and white scenes are stark and crisp and clean. It pops off the screen. It is visually entertaining to watch as an artwork of film alone. Literally what I'm seeing in my eyes. So, for sight, I give this movie 4 out of 5 stars. Now, why can't I give it 5 stars? Because I have to save the 5-star review for the next section. Hearing sound. The sound for this movie is 5 stars, and it is the main reason you should see it in the theater while you can. I know ticket sales are... I sat in a full theater in the afternoon, and I couldn't go in. Yeah, people are really going out to see this movie. I get it. The only reason I didn't see Barbie is because I couldn't get in to see that either during my time frame. So, I saw it in the IMAX, and the music done by, I'm gonna mess this up, Ludwig Göransson. I hope I didn't butcher that too much. I know it's not Ludwig Göransson, but I believe it is Ludwig Göransson, is subtle. It is impactful. It is powerful, grand when you need it to. The music is great. The sound effects for this movie are amazing. And the decision when to use them is when this movie shines. When to hit the theater with a wall of sound is genius. The choices that they made of when to do it are really brilliant, because you never know when you're going to hear things. You're watching a movie about explosions, but when you hear the sound and when you see the explosion, they're doing it really creatively, and it does it throughout the entire movie about when you hear the sound. It is all about timing, and it is an art form. Bravo, sound. Next up on the countdown, it must be discussed: touch, physical touch. What does he mean by that? What's he talking about? I'm talking about the time in the theater. It is 3 hours. It is a 3-hour movie, and if you see at the AMC theaters like I do, there are 30 minutes timed at 30 minutes of previews. That's 3.5 hours in a movie seat. If you took a 3.5-hour flight, you'd get up and walk around for a bit. You'd splash water on your face. You'd do something. 3.5 hours, even in a comfy seat, is a long time. That's a long time. And it's a different animal than it used to be, because now there are so many different ways for us to watch movies. From VCR to DVD to Netflix, mail order to Netflix, streaming to your television, to streaming to your computer, to your handheld devices. In a few months, I'll be able to watch this movie from my hand. That's a thing. That is a thing. You know, it's a long movie at home. You break it up. You hit the pause button. You have dinner. You put the kids to bed. You watch it in segments if it's too long. Or if you're like every person I know, you fell asleep for the first time and you got to go back and find out where you can start watching it again. But in the theater, 3.5 hours, it's a long time. And it's a long time considering or depending on whatever your perfect movie seats are, right? If you're like me, you have your good seats that you want to go to. The IMAX are not those seats. So, did I notice the time? Yeah, I did. I noticed it in the middle hour. First hour, no. Last hour, no. The movie really has a good clip to it in the beginning and in the end, and I didn't notice it there. In the middle is when my body let me know I'd been seated for a long time. I did see that. So, for touch and for just sheer time of the length of the movie, 3 stars. As far as taste and smell goes, I got to give 5 stars. The movie smelled and tasted like Jolly Ranchers and soda water, which is what I brought with me to the theater. 5 stars, yeah. Although I'm pretty sure every variety pack of Jolly Ranchers is mostly apple, right? Thoughts on that? I think it's mostly apple. No dissing on the apple, but I think it's mostly apple. Yeah, 5 stars though. Now, the film's accuracy. I believe that the timeline is correct and the major plot points are correct. As to the private conversations between the characters, that is up to the writer's discretion and the writer's creativity to show us what we believe was said and how that went. And Christopher Nolan's writing is believable and I believe true to the source material, although I've never read American Prometheus, but I believe it is according to reviews. So, final thoughts. I give this 4 out of 5 stars. Go see it in the theater. Go see this movie because, yeah, the sound. Go for the sound. See it in the theater. 4 stars. I'm not going to go real deep here because the discussions on the atomic bomb and whether or not we should have created it or not, or used it or not, or continue to use them or not have no real cut and dry answer for most of us, and that's why the movie is good. It brings up discussion yet again about these topics. We can talk about it, and we're going to be talking about this stuff long after I've shuffled off this mortal coil. But as a science fiction geek, if you're wondering where I stand on the whole thing, you should watch how I end every episode. Okay, it's time for a shout out. This shout out is from my top 10 favorite sports movies with Mark Rodriguez. Michael says, not bad lists, but how is Cool Runnings not on either list? Amazing movie. Yeah. Michael dropped the ball on that one. We did. I had 23 movies on my list and Mark had 18 and neither one of us had Cool Runnings. That is a fun and brilliant and wonderful movie. John Candy. My gosh. Yeah, that's a great movie. It just goes to show how many really good sports movies there are. Yeah, because if I did my list tomorrow, that movie would be on it. But seriously, great pick, Michael. Great pick. That'll do it this week for my review of Oppenheimer. Give it 4 out of 5 stars. Go and see it in the theater while it's still in the theater for the sound. Absolutely for the sound. Like and subscribe if you like this content, and hit that notification bell so you know when my stuff drops. It drops on Sunday. Come with me on this journey. Let's see the things we love. Let's talk about science fiction, popular culture, board games, comic books, superheroes, all the nerdy stuff we love. Until I see you next time, as always, peace, love, live long, and prosper.